Hi everyone, Heg from Grimfrost here. I'm here with Alexander Ludwig, who plays Bjorn Ironside on Vikings. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. The defining moments, without question, one of my favorite scenes I've ever had the opportunity of filming is actually is episode 520.
Yeah.
So the very last episode of season 5, I think is going to blow people's minds.
All right.
It's insane, and it's been the journey as an actor that I've been able to show is unparalleled to anything else I've seen. I mean, being able to show such a growth from being a kid on a show to then, from a character's point of view, obviously I came in a little later, but to show that growth of a character from being a child all the way up until what could be his death is remarkable. And and now he's a family man and he's a leader, and it's been the greatest thing. So I think the main really big points that stick out in my mind is the scene, most of the scenes that I've done with Travis, so between Ragnar and Bjorn, because it's always been, he's been teaching Bjorn what it means to be a leader. And then the scenes where he's taken over on behalf of his father, like the Law Rock scene when he arrests Floki was a big one for him. His whole journey in the wilderness really shaped him as a man, and him killing the Berserker the way he did really showed that he's not coming back the same man you thought he was. He's not innocent anymore. He's not all good. Maybe
more determined as well.
He's more determined, and he may do vicious things for for what he believes is good. But Bjorn becomes a tough dude. These next couple of episodes. I think you guys are gonna like it.
I'm sure we will.
Struggle for power doesn't interest Bjorn. To him, it's never been about power. It's been about doing what's right as a leader and exploring. In many ways, he is very good in that sense.
We talked about his relationship now with his brothers and with Lagertha, but he also seemed to have a very close relationship with Rollo, and it has been hinted that Rollo may even be Bjorn's father. What would be Bjorn's thoughts about that?
Without giving too much away, because that is a huge point in an episode of season 5. So that question that you have will be answered.
All right,
just so you know.
Let's leave it at that.
But to help to make that a little more clear, he's, regardless of whatever does or doesn't happen, Bjorn will stay true to his own beliefs, and that's to him what really matters most. And then basically you see a huge struggle between Bjorn and Ivar, and Ivar is essentially a lunatic that you could originally you could totally sympathize with him, and I think this time it's going to really, if you had faith in him before, this is really going to test it.
All right.
Because Bjorn and Ivar go head to head.
All right, that sounds really exciting. Like, as a veteran in the cast, who now has spent a large part of your adulthood with Vikings. What defining moment has there been for you as an actor?
Defining moments. This whole series has been such a growth for me as an actor. I'm not the same actor, even in the same category, I think, as I was when I started. And being able to have this type of schooling, working every single day, is invaluable. The moments that I think that really shaped me as an actor were when I met certain people that have changed my life indefinitely. And there's 3 that stick out in my mind, and that's Travis Fimmel, who has been a mentor to me since the beginning, Gustav Skarsgård, who is one of my best friends and plays Floki, also another brilliant actor, and he is again helped me so much through my journey, and Travis and my acting coach Ivana Chubik, who Travis introduced me to and I work with on everything. And then of course Michael Hurst, our writer, who is incredible and so open to collaborating and coming up with new ideas, which is, it's so rare in this industry to have that. Mm-hmm. It's pretty spectacular. So with that whole team, with that whole group of people I have behind me, we're able to create this incredible journey for Bjorn. And God, I'm so thankful I did this show. Yeah.
That's great. Well, so are we. Because it's pretty great. Well, I mean, you spoke with Travis Fimmel, obviously being a mentor and an inspiration for you. So, how would you say that the dynamics on the set has changed now that he's no longer there?
It was very strange at the start. I was very standoffish with the new guys just because I was like, fuck me, like you can't replace such a great character, and that was never what I was gonna do. For me, you have to go do your own thing. Yeah. But I was like, the one thing I will say is Travis does his work, and he works so hard. And to me, the work is the most important. So I've really spent these days when or the weekends when people are out doing whatever. I'm at home working because I want to make this show as great as I can for as long as I can, because it's been so important to me. His impact in my life will have indefinitely changed me for the better. I talked to him yesterday, so we still
so you're still in touch.
He's still one of my best friends as well.
That's great.
And, I miss them dearly, but I'm also so pleasantly surprised because the fans would have been worried, but so was I. Yeah. Like with this whole new change, like I was like, I don't know, we don't know where the show's going, what's going to happen, and this season 5 is going to blow people away.
All right. Yeah. Well, I can't wait. Yeah. So, going back then to a little bit of your work, what kind of research have you done in order to portray Bjorn as a person and as a Viking or warrior?
So we have a history or a historian on our show named Justin, and Michael and I will have dinner with him, and he'll basically take us on these long journeys through time. He'll explain to us what happens. And then Gustav and I, who plays Floki, we actually made a trip to Iceland and spoke with an author there who also knows quite a lot about the Njal sagas and and all that. So that was really interesting to learn about as well. And at the end of the day, I love learning about Viking history, and it's amazing. But what's most important to me is, and I think why a lot of the audience is really into this show as well, is you can put a bunch of fight scenes in, you can show a journey, but if the audience isn't connected with your character and they don't believe or see parts of themselves in you, they won't be invested in what happens to you in a big fight. They won't care.
Exactly.
So for me, what's been more important than anything is personalizing it and showing a growth and making choices that are inherently human, and humans are flawed.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to show that just because they were these legends, they were people like anybody else.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of an amalgamation of all that.
Yeah. But you mentioned before we started this interview that you also visited Sweden and Bjorn Ironside's actual burial mound.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was just surreal. First off, I love Sweden so much. Gustav has his family home there, and so I go stay with them all the time, and we went on these amazing trips. But just really getting into, it's almost surreal, just seeing this guy that I am portraying.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're in a dream state kind of thing, and you want to do right by it too, because you know that this man was so important to so many people, and he did something for the good of his people. And and you know, he's such a big part of especially you guys. We were just talking about this, about your guys' traditions.
Yeah.
So I feel this personal responsibility to really do it justice.
Yeah. So would you say that the character felt more real and alive to you after you visited the burial mound, or did he always kind of feel that way?
He's always really felt that way
Yeah.
to me. I think before I even got into the show, he was, you know, I'd already done my due diligence and whatnot, but he's definitely grown with me, and I think there was a part of, especially now where my character's at in the show, it defined him a little bit more as a leader for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
just the way I thought of the character may have changed a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What would you say is the most surprising thing that you've learned about Vikings since you started on this show?
The most surprising thing I learned, well, I guess there's two that stick out in my mind. One was, I mean, years ago when I started the show, was how much respect they had for their women, and I thought that was just, it was so admirable and amazing, and it was so interesting because I was looking back on that, just going, how is it that we lost that? If so long ago that was, you know, a tradition, and I mean lost that in a sense that, you know, if you look in like the 60s in the Western world, perhaps it was a lot worse. I'd say if I go to Sweden, it's not even a thing, which I love. Like, to me, I think that, well, at least when I went there, I was just, oh, men and women, it's like they're super equal to, you know, and I love that, and I think we're going in the right direction, in the right trajectory. But to see that so long ago they had already figured out what was right, and that the opposite sex was also as much, if not more so, contribution to their society, was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with that. Actually, it's something that I also noticed in.
Yeah, totally. And then also, actually, then the next one would have been the fact that they made it to Africa.
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe that.
And North America.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What would have been the challenges for a young aspiring actor to relocating across the Atlantic for such a long period of time?
Last year especially, it was really rough because Gustav and I lived together, and I've lived with Travis for a while as well. So without Travis, and then with Gustav and I being on different film schedules, I was basically alone, and I was living in the countryside at the point, a little bit away from here, so I wasn't very close to the city. So it was definitely it was very melancholy for me. But so it's just really just being away from home and your home base.
Yeah.
This year, thank God, I have my girlfriend here as well, Christy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's been just a different world, and I think we've all kind of really, everybody on the show has kind of connected a little bit more and become more of a family.
Yeah.
You know, that echoes that of the family we had created before.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah.
You've been on this journey now for, was it like 4 seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
even more. Yes, five. Well,
6
5.
years?
Yes.
5, 6
4
years.
to 5. 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. So where do you find your inspiration to continue getting into the head of Bjorn and continuing to develop him as a character?
Your questions are so good, man. Oh my God.
We worked hard on them.
No, really, really amazing. Because like I haven't been asked this kind of stuff, but it's the stuff that I'm challenged with on a daily basis. And yeah, it's so easy to just be like, here's another script, here's another thing, you know, because you've lived with it so long, it's easy to take it for granted.
Yeah.
And then you look back on a season, you're just like, fuck, this is what we're creating. This is incredible.
Yeah.
One thing that really helps me is the fact that I work with my coach Ivana Chubik on every single scene.
Yeah.
And having an outsider's perspective on the show really helps me because we can bounce ideas off of each other, and she inspires me in that sense. And I remember that what we're making is so much bigger than me, and how lucky I am to be on it, you know, and how important it is for me to do great work, because, you know, that's always been the most important thing to me, is that I do my work and I make sure that it's excellent. So that's really great. And then also having dinners with Michael has really inspired me, because on a regular basis we brainstorm together, and he tells me stories that he's heard from Justin, our historian, and we go, well, how about this? Like, why don't we do something like this? Or go there. I'm like, this is incredible. How have we not shown this yet? And you come up with all these new ideas together. That's just, it's pretty remarkable that he is gracious enough to allow that contribution. And how far it goes is obviously totally up to him.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's even a conversation there is very special.
That's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Bjorn Ironside is, according to legend, one of the first kings of Sweden.
Yeah.
And as such, he's an important, very important character to us. And we think that you've done an amazing job in bringing the character of Bjorn to life, and we'd like to thank you for that. So
dude, thank you so much. That really means the world to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Alexander, for taking the time off to talk to us about season 5 and your work there, and we're really looking forward to it.
November 29th, and I love Grimfrost. You guys are the best. Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, dude.